Okay?
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Jermaine Essen. Mr. Essen, you're being held on a charge of domestic violence, dating violence battery. The court finds probable cause to detain you. Sir, until further order of the court, you can have absolutely no contact with Renee Barnes. The court notes no local priors. What's this pretrial?
No record found, Your Honor.
Mr. Essen, sir, I'm going to set your bond at $2,500, sir. Pedro Marquez. Mr. Marquez, you're being held on a charge of domestic battery. The court does find probable cause to detain you. Sir, until further order of the court, you can have absolutely no contact with Leanne Silva. The court notes one local prior. What says pretrial?
Also, no other record, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Marquez, I'm going to set your bond, sir, at $2,500.
Your Honor, just to let you know, the Spanish interpreter is here.
Oh, did he need Spanish?
No, Judge, I'm not sure. Someone in North Broward needs a Spanish
Okay,
interpreter.
where's
I'm
my
not-
Spanish interpreter?
She's right behind me, Judge.
All right, thank you. Good morning, ma'am. All right.
Hector, can you hear me?
They're very quiet over there today.
I don't think they can. We can't hear you.
It's not working? Yeah. Maybe it's,
Can you hear me?
but you can hear us. He can hear us.
You
We
can hear
just
me?
can't hear him. Although it says the system is on here. Let me try this button.
There must be something wrong.
Now we hear you.
Oh, wow.
It
Okay,
was
good.
one
Now
of
we can be
these,
heard.
one of these 72 buttons I hadn't pushed up here. Sorry about that.
Judge, what I was going to be asking you on behalf of Mr. Marquez is a phone order so he can access his phone contacts to contact his family to post his bond.
That's
or
fine.
friends and family.
That's fine.
Thank you, Judge.
Daryl Stallings.
Judge, I heard he was sent to division.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering who was handling Judge McHugh's docket today, but apparently somebody is. There you go. Good morning, Mr. Lawrence. How are you? Well, it's a VOP. Apparently, if he sent it to his judge, I mean, it's, okay. James Miller, Mr. Miller?
He's approaching at me.
Sir, this is to advise you, you're being held on a warrant from the state of Arizona. They've requested you to be held without bond until you can be transported to Arizona. And they've advised they're willing to consider a bond once you get to Arizona, sir.
Have children?
Thank you. Yamila Cordovi.
Medical loan, Judge.
Do we know how long she's been held on this medical loan? Because everything that I see is a Hollywood case. Does the jail have any idea?
I don't think it's been too long.
Okay, I see, I gotcha. All right, so we'll go ahead and reset Ms. Cordovi. Simone Carpenter, Ms. Carpenter?
She's here at me.
Ma'am, this is, good morning, sir. This is an addition, I'm sorry, this is a warrant for burglary of an unoccupied dwelling. Ma'am, the court does find probable cause to detain you. Until further order of the court, you can have absolutely no contact with the alleged victim in this case. And who are you, sir?
I'm her boyfriend.
Okay.
Actually, the residence.
Hold on just a second. Do you have a name?
Presley Pierre.
Oh, Mr. Pierre, okay. Are you going to assist her in posting bond?
Yes, I will, but
Okay.
actually, the residence was actually ours. She'll stand with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's something that's not gonna be resolved unfortunately today, sir. They're very serious allegations in this case. So, the court
If I may?
note. Who was yes, go ahead, counsel.
My understanding, Judge, and hopefully the state can verify this, my understanding is this is her first arrest ever. She just recently lost her job. She was working at a janitorial services. And my understanding is she's going to be relying solely on her boyfriend to post her bond, but I don't think he can come up with very much. I believe he's also looking for work. So we'd be asking you to respectfully $2,500 bond on Ms. Carpenter's behalf.
All right. The court notes in the serious allegations in this file, including the allegations that the alleged victim is in fear for her life. The court takes that very seriously. As a result, the bond is going to be set at $10,000 in this particular case with a no contact order on the alleged victim. If you need a bond reduction, you're going to have to see your assigned judge, ma'am. Thank you.
Good luck, man.
Jennifer Shane.
North Broward.
Yes.
All right, give me just a moment, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
North Broward. All right, Ms. Shane, you're being held on a charge of grand theft. The court does find probable cause to detain you, ma'am, until further order of the court. There's to be absolutely no return to target.
Right.
I note one local prior. What says pretrial? Did you look at a record on this, though? All right. Ma'am, the court's going to set your bond at $500, ma'am.
Did the court consider pretrial release, Judge?
Not with that record. Thank you. Not with the, particularly with the VOP.
I'll make some calls for you, Jennifer, okay?
Thank you very much.
Shantoria Young.
She's here present, Judge, and me.
Ms. Young, you're being held on a charge of child neglect with great bodily harm. The court finds probable cause to detain you. What says pretrial? And does the state know whether this child's already in the DCF process? Or
Your Honor, I don't know, but I will make contact with the arresting officer to confirm that if either CPS is involved or they will be contacted.
what the court's going to do in this particular case, the following conditions. First of all, ma'am, until further order of the court, there can be absolutely no contact with Jamal Edge or the child. Additionally, the court is going to assign this defendant to pretrial supervision with the requirement that any DCF recommendations and evaluation be part of the pretrial supervision. And at this point, that's it. This particular case is very sad, but it appears that most of this, if not 95% of it, is at the feet of Mr. Edge. So,
Your Honor, it does mention that the child protection team responded, so I'll just
okay, so
follow
this,
up
the
on
child
that.
may already be in the process this morning before another judge.
Possibly,
So
yes.
DCF is gonna be making recommendations. The court wants their recommendations, their evaluation to be part of the release in this case, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes, with those conditions. Ileana Miranda,
Ms. Miranda, come on up. She's approaching, Judge. She's here at me.
Ms. Miranda, ma'am, you're being held on two new charges, grand theft and uttering a false instrument. The court does find probable cause to detain you. You're also being held on a violation of probation out of Miami-Dade County for charges that are amazingly similar to these charges, ma'am. As a result, you're on a no bond hold pending your transport to Miami-Dade County. On the new charges, grand theft, your bond is $5,000. Uttering a false instrument is $1,000 for a total of $6,000, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge.
Regina Hawkins.
North Broward.
All right, Ms. Hawkins, ma'am, you're here this morning on 4 charges: burglary of a dwelling, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and tampering with evidence. There's a note here that it's armed, but I believe that's a typing error.
There's a misspoke, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes.
The court, with that exception, finds probable cause on these charges. I note 2 priors. What says pretrial? Probably because of the armed issue.
Your Honor, based on my conversations with Ms. Hawkins, I would ask the court to set a $1,000 bond on count 1. And I'd ask the court to reset this for our second look docket Thursday afternoon. I'm gonna make some efforts to see if I can get Ms. Hawkins into the Susan B. Anthony Center. Right now, she's homeless, has nowhere to go.
All right, that sounds reasonable. Did you want to be heard on that?
No,
All right, so count 1, 2, and 4, 1,000. Count 3, 100 for a total of 3,100. And Madam Clerk, if you could set that on the Thursday docket, okay? Nicole,
Judge.
thank
I'll
you,
talk to you
ma'am.
Thursday, Regina.
Okay, thank you.
Nicole Martinez?
He is in Paul Ryan, Your Honor.
Nicole Martinez was removed off the docket. Count 5 and 6 are bond surrenders.
I'm sorry, say, she's,
She should have been, I called for her to be removed off the docket because count 5 and 6 are bond surrenders. They're not for magistrate. And she was already magistrated on.
on count 1 through 4? Okay, so none of that changes. Okay. I was thinking, I went through all of this and wrote a few notes. All right, Ms. Martinez, so basically you're still in the same position you were yesterday. Thank you, ma'am.
I spoke to your mom, and she's gonna put some money on your commissary.
Thank you.
All right,
Didn't realize you were talking to Nicole Martinez.
that's been removed from the docket, Mr. McGuire.
Judge, well, while she was there, I was gonna let the court know that she does have a, count 2 is a possession of marijuana municipal ordinance. And we were trying to see if we could resolve that today.
No, you're not gonna be able to resolve a marijuana charge on a, with all those other bond surrenders and other no bond holds, okay?
Yes, Judge.
George O'Brien,
Conti, Your Honor.
this is a City of Hollywood case. Sir, this is an additional hold on you for a municipal ordinance violation out of Hollywood. The court notes 8 priors, but they all appear to be also municipal ordinance. Do you know if he's being held on, I notice he's being held on 7 other charges.
Judge, he was actually being released. He received adjudication withhold on all his other MO 40 cases. And then he was charged with this last MO.
All right, so on this one, Mr. O'Brien, do you want to take adjudication time served, or do you want to try to contest this particular charge? It looks like it's an underlying charge of trespass in the City of Hollywood.
Adjudication, please.
Okay. All right, so he'll be released on this one as well. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Chauncey Ditzel, or,
He's approaching Judge Sierra Maine.
sir, you're being held on a warrant for failing to appear on a charge of petty theft. The court does find probable cause to detain you, sir. I know you have 10 priors. You have 2 options today. Actually, I can't give you an offer on this. I'm sorry. Your bond is $250. If you cannot post that, you are due to see your judge on Thursday at 1:30 in the afternoon, sir.
Judge, he is homeless. My understanding, this occurred at Publix where the merchandise was recovered. There's no restitution issues. Would Your Honor consider extending an offer on this case?
No, I won't, because I cannot confirm that that's the case. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Roy Miller. It's another Hollywood case.
Mr. Miller? Roy Miller?
Municipal ordinance.
Okay, hold on.
He's in the main jail, Judge. He's just
Hold
in
on.
the back.
Hold-
So it's gonna take.
Yeah, he's in the back,
about a
Judge.
minute
He's
to get
approaching.
him, Judge.
I'm not really sure what that means, he's in the back. Does that mean he's,
He's not in the general population.
He
where
might be in the
other
restroom.
persons
I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
There's a back section here.
I
Judge.
gotcha.
Okay.
So we'll just pass him for a second. Akua Lawrence.
Mr. Lawrence is approaching, Judge.
Mr. Lawrence, you're being held on a charge of petty theft. The court finds probable cause to detain you, sir. Until further order of the court, you can not return to Publix. And I note no priors, but I note he's only 18 years old. What says pretrial, if anything?
Just a moment, Your Honor. I'll look to see if I have anything on.
Your Honor, if I may,
You may?
I suspect he may be on juvenile probation.
He does have a lengthy juvenile record, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge, that is correct. However, at this time, he's looking for work. He's unemployed. He goes, well, summer's out, but he was attending AMI school. He's going to be asking Your Honor to consider releasing him on pretrial release.
Your Honor, would you like to see his juvenile history so as not to put it on the record?
No, that's okay. I'm gonna set bond at $25 for Mr. Lawrence.
Thanks, Judge.
Eduardo Trujillo.
Mr. Trujillo is approaching, Judge. And when you have a moment, Judge, I believe they brought Mr. George O'Brien. Not George O'Brien.
Mr. Miller?
Mr. Roy Miller, yes.
Okay. Mr. Trujillo, sir, you're being held on a charge of DUI with property damage to another. The court finds probable cause to detain you. What says pretrial?
I show no prior record on.
Sir, are you gonna be able to post a $1,000 bond?
Yes, sir. He
All right.
gave me the phone number of his parents. I'm going to be contacting them.
All right, bond will be set at $1,000
Your
then.
Honor?
Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm just gonna make an additional request, if I may, Your Honor.
You can try.
Okay, well, if, you wanna have him come back? Your Honor, based on the allegations specifically that this happened in the middle of the day, that he struck a bus bench, knocking about 100 feet into the street, I'm gonna be requesting in addition to the bond that he be supervised by pretrial with a TAD monitor, conditions of no alcohol or intoxicants.
Okay, there's no record that that's necessary. Thank you, sir. Roy Miller?
Mr. Miller's approaching.
Good morning. This is a City of Fort Lauderdale case.
Yes, Judge.
This is a capias for failing to appear. Mr. Miller, I note you have 48 priors. Bond is set at $25 with the appearance before the assigned judge Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning. Mr. McLawrence?
I included a notice to appear with the appointment order
Uh-huh.
that I submitted to you, Your Honor. And just so the court is aware, Mr. Miller was here on April 11th, and we resolved the case at that, I'm sorry, he was here on April 18th, and we resolved the case at that time. What we didn't know was that this case was,
I'm sorry, hold on.
Mr. Miller, just, we can't speak if you're speaking.
I shut his mic off. Go ahead.
So Judge, we were here on April 18th, and we resolved another case that Mr. Miller had. What we didn't know at the time was that this case was outstanding. So what typically happens in these cases is that Mr. Miller is homeless. We didn't know his case was outstanding. If we did, we would have resolved it, but then there's a capias that's issued, and then we're here.
So what do you want to happen?
Judge, I spoke to him, and we would like to see if the court would be willing to resolve this matter today.
Is this the only thing remaining that's holding him?
That's the only thing that I see.
All right. All right, do you want to resolve this, Mr. Miller, with time served today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Vinicius Rivero? For this case? No one has told me what case the Spanish interpreter is here for. I'm sorry.
It's at one of the satellite.
I can't read the minds. Where's Mr. Rivero?
Yeah.
At
No problem, Your
North-
Honor. He needs a Spanish interpreter.
Okay, there
I
you
like
go.
it. That answers that question.
Good morning, ma'am. Mr. Rivero, you're being held on a charge of operating without a valid driver license.
Señor Rivero, se le acusa de manejar un vehículo motorizado sin licencia válida.
I see that he needs a Portuguese interpreter on the paperwork. ¿Portugués o español,
Portugués.
señor?
Portugués.
Portuguese. Okay, so he needs Portuguese. Thank you. Okay, that's all right. Oh, I'm trying to remember how to say "have a seat, sir" in Portuguese, but I don't remember it, so. At North, you're going to have him sit for just a few moments till we get the Portuguese interpreter, okay? Thank you so much. Wallace Legros.
Mr. Legro is approaching Judge, municipal ordinance case.
City of Hollywood.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir, you're being held on 2 warrants for failing to appear. The South Satellite Courthouse and Hollywood ordinance cases. Mr. Legros, I do have that you have a residence on North Ocean Drive in Hollywood. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay. Any reason you didn't appear in court, sir?
For what charge, sir?
This is for an alcohol violation and a noise violation.
Yes, sir. On May 10th, I stood before Judge Bachman. They cleared out all these warrants on me. This
Okay.
disappeared.
When did
some
you,
reason.
what day did you appear, sir?
May 10th.
Okay, let me see. It's possible these charges weren't processed by that time because of the time frame. All right, so I'm gonna
At the time,
ROR,
sir.
I'm gonna ROR you on these, but you're gonna get a notice to go back before Judge Bachman. Okay, when you get that in the mail, make sure you go, okay?
Can I ask about the noise violation?
Sir, I only have the warrant, I don't know,
Oh,
I don't have what the noise was. Sorry about that.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Gene Charles?
He's approaching, Judge.
Mr. Gene Charles, you're being held on a charge of possession of cannabis. The court finds probable cause to detain you, sir, but the court's gonna ROR you on this charge. You'll have to go to court when you get your notice, sir. John Mochia or Mochia?
He's approaching municipal in his case.
This is a City of Pompano case. Sir, you're being held on a violation of Pompano Beach City Ordinance. The court finds probable cause to detain you. However, it notes no priors. However, the city is not here, sir, so the court is going to ROR these charges, or this charge. Sir, I have that you get your mail at Northeast 19th Avenue in Pompano Beach. Is that correct, sir?
Yes,
All
sir.
right, when you get sent your notice to come to court, you need to come to court to face the charge, okay, sir? All right.
We just resolve this now?
So the city's not here, so I cannot. I just have to release you. Thank you, sir. David Lampron?
Medical reset.
Okay. On this one, I have that judge, maybe make sure that this is the right one. I have one of these that I thought. Actually, I see that he's been reset 5 times. I'm going to just ROR him on this charge so he can be released. I don't know, we don't need to keep resetting him for that many times. Kevin Jackson?
He's also a medical reset, Judge.
This might be another one, too. This one is even more. This is, I see that he was already ROR'd by Judge, Judge with a signature that begins with a D.
Judge, what happened, I guess their intention was to RR him, but Mr. Jackson has also.
Oh. So, but can't, if somebody is under that circumstance, they're still held, they're deemed to be no longer a danger, correct? My point is, I don't think that we should be holding him for these charges once he's released from that other, okay? So I'm gonna enter an ROR.
You gonna RR him?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. Oops, sorry. Orlando Rivera?
All right.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. There you are.
Yes. Adriana Alcalde on behalf of the state, Your Honor. This case was set for trial yesterday. Mr. Arriaza is his attorney.
Now, there's a 2016 case and a 2018 case, which is what he's on today.
Correct. The 2016 case was no-crossed yesterday. Mr. Arriaza is his attorney on also this new case. I knew he was gonna file his paperwork.
Okay,
The clerk advised us that it was gonna be set for magistrates tomorrow on Wednesday. So Mr. Arriaza texted me and asked if it could just be rolled till tomorrow, which I don't have an objection to.
okay. So, but my review of the underlying allegations is that these are different dates than the 2016 case.
Yeah, the 2016 case, we filed an amended information subsequent to the original information that had the correct date.
Dates, gotcha. Okay, so Mr. Rivera will reset this for Thursday, you said Thursday?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, so your attorney can be here, sir. But based on the review of what I saw, you weren't going anywhere anyway, so we'll wait till Mr. Arriaza can be here tomorrow, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
So that needs to be reset. Thank you, ma'am, good to see you.
You too.
Guillermo Abreu?
Conti, Your Honor.
Mr. Abreu, this is an additional hold on you for a capias out of 2017 for grand theft auto. So your additional bond on this charge is $1,000, sir. Thank you. Jeremy McCulloch?
He's approaching here, Maine.
Name.
Has-
Mr. McCulloch, this is an additional hold on you for grand theft over $300. The court finds probable cause to detain you. The court notes 2 priors that are related in nature to this type of charge. Accordingly, your bond on this additional charge, sir, is $1,000. Daquan Atwell?
Mr. Atwell has some family here, Judge.
Okay. Raise your hand for me. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Atwell is approaching, Judge.
All right, Mr. Adwell, these are 2 additional charges for dealing in stolen property and false ownership given for pawned items. The court finds probable cause to detain you. The court notes 2 priors. What says pretrial?
That's all I have as well, Your Honor.
All right.
Judge, it appears that count 1 was a petty theft. He received an adjudication withheld on that charge, so
So these are the only two charges pending?
that's the way it looks to me, yes, sir.
All right, and are you folks going to help him if he has a bond? Or are you here just to see what's going on? Both? All right. Mr. Atwell, what type of bond can you afford, do you think, sir?
Judge, respectfully, and speaking with Mr. Atwell, my understanding is that right now he's currently looking for work. He's gonna be relying on his mother to help post his bond. I believe she works at McDonald's. Judge, we're gonna be asking you to consider lowering the bond on count 2 from $3,500 to $1,000 and having count 3 remain the same at $1,000. He believes maybe the family can come up with a premium using the bondsman.
Okay. Did the state want to be heard on that?
The judge.
Right, bond then is $2,000 total, okay? Thank you very much. Good luck to you, sir. Benjamin Siegel? Hey, good morning, Mr. Padowitz, how are you? Right then here. All right, Mr. Siegel, this is an additional hold on you for attempted felony murder. The court does find probable cause to detain him and notes the case is currently assigned to Judge Calra. Did the state want to be heard?
Your Honor, the state would be seeking, for first appearance purposes only, pursuant to the size of the state, a finding of proof evident of presumption great. And request that Mr. Siegel be held no bond on this count.
All right, Mr. Padowitz?
Obviously, we're not prepared to go.
Hold on just a second. All right, I just have to, I can't hear when there is that much noise over there. Go ahead.
We're not prepared to go forward on a evidentiary hearing of finding proof evident presumption great.
Okay. This has been, like I said, assigned to Judge Calra. The court has reviewed the allegations set forth in the affidavit of Officer Barbara Hendricks. I believe, based on the detail that's provided, as well as the statements of the eyewitness, that there is proof evident presumption great. So therefore, the court's going to set a no bond hold pending further review by Judge Calra. Okay? Thank you, sir.
What do I do?
You're going to have to see Judge Calra, and your attorney's going to work on getting that hearing date for you, sir, okay?
So how did I get attempted murder? I didn't do anything wrong.
Sir, let's not talk about that publicly. All right? Thank you, sir.
What's the incident about?
No talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your attorney will talk to you about it, sir. Diamante Stovall?
He's approaching, Judge.
All right, Mr. Stovall, you're being held on a charge of grand theft auto, possession of cannabis over 20 grams, resisting an officer without violence, fleeing and eluding a law enforcement officer, and driving while license suspended, third or subsequent offense, violation of probation. The court finds probable cause to detain you. As to the charge of violation of probation, you're on a no bond hold pending your appearance before Judge Fine. You're set to see him the 15th, June 15th at 8:45 in the morning. As to the other charges, the court notes the allegations in the probable cause affidavit, as well as your 14 priors. The court, as to grand theft auto, your bond will be $5,000. Possession of cannabis, $1,000. Resisting an officer, $100. Fleeing or eluding, $5,000. And driving while license suspended, $750, for a total bond of $11,850. But first, you're going to have to see Judge Fine, sir.
Our interpreter is back. It turns out the gentleman can use a Spanish interpreter, does not require a Portuguese interpreter.
Mr. Rivero?
He's in North Broward, I believe, Judge.
He had an epiphany. All right, Mr. Rivero, we're going to try this in Spanish.
Señor Rivero, vamos a tratar de hablar en español.
If you have difficulty, let me know, okay?
Si tiene dificultad en entender, por favor, le avisa al señor juez.
¿Entiendes? Okay. All right. So, all right. Sir, you're being held on a charge of operating without a valid driver license.
Señor, se le acusa de manejar un vehículo motorizado sin licencia válida.
The court finds probable cause to detain you, sir.
El juez encuentra causa probable para detenerlo.
And sir, it's not comfortable seeing you in that type of a shirt today. This is something that you're going to be able to resolve.
Es incómodo verlo a usted en ese tipo de atuendo. Se va a ver que este caso se resuelva.
Okay, you understand?
¿Entendió? Va a ver el señor
I don't
juez
want
que-
you to get this upset about it, but when I see people in the green shirts like that, that generally means they're very upset about something, okay?
Señor, yo no quiero que se altere por verse a usted mismo en ese tipo de atuendo, generalmente de vestido, de ropa. Cuando veo a la gente vestida con ese tipo de ropa, generalmente están alterados. No se preocupe, se van a tratar de resolver.
Sir, you live in the city of Deerfield Beach?
¿Usted vive en Deerfield Beach?
Yes.
Okay, are you gonna be able to post $25 bonds, sir?
¿Va a poder poner $25 de fianza?
Ahora no, porque no tengo mi documento aquí, no tengo ningún número de teléfono a una
Okay.
persona.
Not now, not here,
in the
because I don't have my telephone numbers. I don't have any telephone numbers of anybody.
Did you have your phone when you were arrested, sir?
Cuando lo arrestaron, tenía su teléfono con usted.
Estaba en los carros.
It was in the car.
It was in my car.
He left it in the car. Okay, so he doesn't know who to contact. Has anyone from your office been able to talk with him? I guess not, because it's
No, he
Spanish.
just got arrested, Judge, so really no.
Okay.
And my Portuguese and Spanish are both pretty
Or
bad,
pretty-
so I
Acaban de
couldn't.
arrestar, el abogado de oficio no ha podido contactarse con usted ni ninguna otra persona de su oficina.
All right, Mr. Rivera, I'm going to release you, sir,
Señor Rivero, le voy a dar la libertad a usted,
but you're going to get a notice in the mail to come back to court in about a month.
pero va a recibir una notificación por correo indicando que tiene que regresar acá a la corte como en un mes.
You need to make sure you come back to court, sir, or another warrant will be issued for your arrest.
Tiene que asegurarse de venir en esa fecha a la corte porque si no van a poner otra orden de arresto. ¿Entendió al intérprete?
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Take care.
Que tenga, muchas gracias. Y
Ele
cuídese.
de hecho, yo una pregunta, ele vai me liberar?
Just a question, are you gonna release me?
Yes, today. You'll be released today, sir.
Sí, correcto, le va a liberar hoy. Hoy día.
All right? Okay.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, ma'am. Deontay Riles?
He's approaching, Judge.
Mr. Riles, you're being held on a warrant for failing to appear on a criminal traffic matter, as well as a warrant for violating your probation. Sir, on the violation of probation, you're on a no bond hold pending your appearance before Judge Siegel. That's due for June the 18th at 8:30 in the morning. On the warrant for traffic crime violation, you have a bond of $500, but you are set to see your assigned judge on Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning, sir. Thank you, sir. William Miller?
Mr. Miller's approaching, Judge.
Mr. Miller, you're being held on several warrants, 2 for violating pretrial. And those, you're on a no bond hold pending your appearance before Judge Usan. So you're also being held on a warrant out of the state of Maryland. So once you're finished with Judge Usan, you'll be transported or extradited to the state of Maryland, sir. That's all.
Good luck, sir.
Nicholas Weimer?
Mr. Weimer is approaching, Judge.
Mr. Weimer, you're being held on a charge of which I believe should be attempted burglary, and it's another one of these typing issues.
They just can't charge it as an attempt on the booking, but I agree.
Okay, so it's an attempted burglary. The court finds probable cause to detain you on that charge. What says pretrial?
Your Honor, I saw one prior arrest out of Rivera Beach for a municipal ordinance violation, nothing else.
Mr. Weimer, you're homeless, sir?
He is, Judge. And from what he advised me, there's no one he can contact to help post his monetary bond. He's looking for work, Judge, but right now, there's no one out there that can help him.
I'm happy to entertain a suggestion.
Judge, we'd be asking you to consider pretrial release. I mean, there's no rule or anything like that that prevents your honor from ordering pretrial release.
I understand that
to a person
part, but
was on the address.
how are we gonna prevent Mr. Weimer from having another warrant issued for his arrest because he doesn't know when to come back to court? What is your
Let me
suggestion?
inquire if he has a mailing address. Hold on one
Okay.
second, please.
Let him
Yeah,
chat.
of course.
Judge, he did advise me that he has grandparents that live in Bradenton, Florida, that he communicates with, that he can receive mail. So if he's in communication with his grandparents, they can advise him when his future court dates is. And besides that, when he reports to pretrial, he can always ask his pretrial release officer when his future court date. He did apply with the public defender's office. He can ask us and call us and find out when's his future court date.
Okay. Do you understand, sir, that if you miss your court date, you're gonna have a warrant issued for your arrest and you'll be in a worse position than you are now? Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Based on the lack of record here, as well as the allegations, the court is gonna put him into pretrial supervision. The best that we can do. All right,
Thank you,
ma'am?
Judge.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, I'd ask for a condition no return to the residence listed then.
Okay.
Seriously?
Your Honor,
I mean,
I don't-
do you really think that's gonna happen? I mean,
well, I would hope he would stay away, and if he doesn't, if he does go by there for some reason, then he would be in violation of his release conditions. But I do believe the homeowner.
I will put in order a condition of no contact with the alleged victim, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, ma'am. Josiah Plummer? Mr. Plummer?
Mr. Plummer's approaching, Judge.
Mr. Plummer, you're being held on a charge of providing false identification to a law enforcement officer, and you're also being held on a warrant out of Highlands County. On the Highlands County warrant, sir, you're on an O-bond hold pending your transport to Highlands County. On the giving false ID, the court finds probable cause to detain you. Sir, your bond is $100.
Judge, would you consider an ROR so Highlands County could come and pick him up?
I don't see why not, but you mean, no, that means he'll still have a pending
Correct.
Broward charge. I mean, in all honesty, the Highlands County charge is the serious charge.
Correct.
Judge, he was at charge.
Oh, he has another charge coming tomorrow?
Joshua Plummer?
Yeah.
He was also at charge with another county. I'm not sure.
Well, at least Broward won't be dealing with it. Okay, I'll ROR, on the Broward charge, I will ROR him.
Thank you.
James Innocent?
Mr. Innocent is approaching, Judge, and he did decline the services of public defender.
Mr. Innocent, do you have a private attorney, sir?
No, I might get some.
Okay, you're being
Just
held,
right now.
all right, you're being held on 11 charges. Grand theft of a firearm, 2 counts of possession of weapon or ammunition by a convicted felon, trafficking in cocaine, possession of cannabis with intent to deliver, trafficking in heroin, trafficking in methamphetamine, trafficking in MDMA, ecstasy, selling THC, possession of alprazolam with intent to sell, and possession of oxycodone. The court finds probable cause as to all counts except for count 9. As to count 9, selling THC, the court enters an ROR. The court notes 14 priors and the detailed allegations set forth in the probable cause affidavit, sir. As a result, the court is setting your bond as follows. Count 1, grand theft, firearm, $1,000. Count 2, possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, $5,000. Count 3, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, $5,000. Trafficking in cocaine, $15,000. Possession of cannabis with intent to sell, $1,000. Trafficking in heroin, $250,000. Trafficking in methamphetamine, $50,000. Trafficking in MDMA ecstasy, $75,000. Possession of Xanax with intent to sell, $1,000, and possession of oxycodone, $1,000. Your total bond, sir, is $404,000. Good luck to you, sir. Ryan Barrett.
Judge, his bond
Mr.
has
Barrett's
been
approaching,
posted.
Mr. Barrett, you're being held on a charge of possession of THC. The court finds probable cause to detain you. Sir, the court has been advised your bond has been posted. Thank you, sir.
He'll be released today, okay? All right, thank you.
Dennis Malden.
Molden is approaching.
Sir, you're being held on a charge of grand theft auto and violating probation. The court finds probable cause to detain you. Sir, you're currently set for a hearing before Judge Duffy on June 18th at 9 o'clock in the morning. As to the charge of grand theft auto, the court finds probable cause and sets your bond at $1,000, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good luck, sir.
Scott Porras, or
Mr. Porras is approaching, Judge. He did decline. He says he has private counsel, Mr. Chad Mason.
I'm sorry, what's the last name of your attorney, sir?
Mason?
Mason?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Porras. Does your attorney know you're appearing this morning?
Yes, Faleka, the other, Chad Mason's partner, Faleka, he said he couldn't make it to the morning if I could get it, if he could come to the afternoon one, which is around, what time is your afternoon court?
Like a 1:30. Okay.
Yeah, 1:30. He said that if he can make it to the 1:30, but I don't have a phone or any minutes on Tectonics to call him to let him know that.
Do you
that
folks
I
know
did get the
how,
1:30
someone know how to
court
reach
date.
him? Mr. Faleka? Okay. We'll roll it till 1:30, sir. Okay?
Okay, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Madam Clerk. Tomas or Thomas Smith?
Mr. Smith is approaching. Come on up, Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith, you're being held on a warrant for aggravated stalking. The court finds probable cause to detain you, sir. Sir, until further order of the court, there can be absolutely no contact with the alleged victim in this case. The court notes 4 priors, all dealing with crimes of violence. As a result, the court is going to set your bond, sir, at $25,000. The court is going to put you on pretrial supervision if you are able to bond out on an electronic monitor at the highest level. Means he cannot leave his house for any reason. Okay?
Judge, respectfully, in speaking to Mr. Smith, he advises me at this time he is working. He works at a company called Tires and Roofing. He's been there about 7 months, making about $100 a day. The only person he can contact to post his bond is going to be his mother, who he lives with in Davie, but she is on disability. There's no way that she can come up with the $25,000. I'd ask you to consider reducing the $25,000 bond. We have no objection to supervision, but we'd ask you to reduce the $5,000. That's maybe something more attainable for his mother and family.
Thank you for the request. The request is denied. Robert Martone.
Mr. Martone is here. And Judge, we'd be waiving formal reading of the charge.
All right, thank you, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Martone, you're being held on a felony warrant. The court does find probable cause to detain you. I note 1 non-related prior. Did pretrial look at this, if there's anything else?
I'm checking right now. yeah.
Okay.
I only saw 1 traffic matter.
All right, that's what I saw. All right, Mr. Martone, the court notes according to what the information I have, you've been a resident of Broward County. It says here for over 30 years.
Correct, Judge.
All right, the court's going to set bond at $5,000 with the requirement of pretrial supervision. Okay?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir?
the state would be requesting additional release conditions that Mr. Martone not be in possession of any devices with internet access until further order of the court and no contact with minors.
I'll enter the no contact with minors. Again,
Judge, the only thing I'm going to be asking for is, as far as the no contact, he does have a son that does reside with him and his wife. I'd ask you to exclude as far as family.
The court declines to do that. So he's going to have to find someplace else to stay, if that's the case.
Your Honor, what, I heard you say pretrial supervision. Is that with or without a monitor?
Without a monitor.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry to decline that, Judge. I mean, he just informed me his son is 22, so.
Okay. Then it's a non-issue.
Sorry about that.
It's a non-issue.
Non-issue. Okay.
Jason Lang.
Mr. Lang is approaching, Judge.
Mr. Lang, you're being held on a charge of armed burglary, dealing in stolen property, providing false ownership information for pawned items, and grand theft. The court finds probable cause to detain you. The court notes 16 priors, almost all of which involve some serious felony or crime of violence. As a result, if this defendant is able to bond out, he shall be placed on pretrial supervision at the highest level. The bond on count 1 is $5,000. Count 2, $3,500, 3, $3,500, and 4, $1,000.
Your Honor, just for the record, the states would be seeking a no bond hold on count 1 as it is a punishable by life offense.
Why?
Armed burglary.
Oh, I see this transferred over to the probable cause determination as a no bond hold, as not a no bond hold.
Yeah, I think they might do that because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's up to the court one way or the other.
Yeah. I'll leave it as it is with the bond as the court set it with the pretrial supervision, the highest level, which means he won't be able to leave his house. Daniel Iulo.
Sir, hello, sir.
Sir, you're being held on a charge of burglary of an unoccupied structure as well as violating probation. The court finds probable cause to detain you, sir. The court notes you're on a no bond hold pending your appearance before Judge Siegel on June 14th at 8:30 in the morning. On the charge of burglary, the court's setting your bond, sir, at $1,000. You're going to have to see Judge Siegel, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. You write very neatly.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Brent Lee Peterson.
He's here present, Judge, and at this time we'd be waiving formal reading of the charges.
All right.
He also has.
Are
a
you
mem-
folks family members? Okay. All right, sir, you're being held on 6 counts. On the 6th count, the court finds no probable cause. However, the court finds probable cause for counts 1 through 5. Did you want to be heard?
Your Honor, the state, these are punishable by life offenses. The state is going to be seeking a no bond hold upon a finding of proof evident or presumption grade for first appearance purposes only pursuant to Esaza v. State.
Okay. The court notes this case is assigned appears to be Judge Dennis Bailey. On count 6, the court is just going to, like I said, ROR with no opportunity to correct, because based on the review of the affidavit of Officer Latanya Phillips, the court does believe there is proof evident presumption great as to counts 1 through 5, particularly in light of the defendant's alleged confession. As a result, Mr. Peterson is going to be held without bond pending his appearance before Judge Bailey. Until further order of the court, there's absolutely no contact with the alleged victim in this case. All right, folks? I would just say, do you know if he's going to be able to afford his own attorney, or if you don't know that?
Yes.
Do you have an idea who it's going to be? You're looking? Okay. All right, thank you very much. That's all for today.
And that is over our objection, Judge, holding him without bond.
Thank you. Jose de Moya.
North Broward, I believe, Judge.
Mr. de Moya, sir, you're being held on 2 charges, battery on an officer and resisting an officer with violence. Sir, the court finds probable cause to detain you. The court notes your 4 priors that appear to be related. As a result, the court's going to set your bond on each count at $1,000, sir, for a total of $2,000. Thank you, sir. Martise Pointer. All right, Mr. Pointer, you're being held on 3 charges: possession of fentanyl, robbery without a firearm or weapon, and criminal mischief over $1,000 in damage. Sir, the court finds probable cause to detain you. Court notes your file has actually been reviewed by several judges up to this point. As a result, sir, your bond on count 1 is $1,000, count 2 is $10,000, and count 3 is $500, for a total of $11,500, sir.
I'll call your mom, Martise, okay?
Thanks. Justin Karakov.
Judge, I've been informed he bonded.
Okay, it can happen. Okay. Philip O'Brien.
Medical research.
Okay. Oh, you,
The medical research.
well, why do I need to sign it if he bonded? You're Judge Varner signed it. You don't like her signature?
It's on this document.
Mr. Petticord?
Yes.
I hear his voice. Let's see where he is.
George Brower, Judge.
Mr. Petticord, you're being held on several charges. Petty theft, third or subsequent offense, passing a altered instrument, 2 counts of possession of cocaine, 2 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia, and 2 counts of tampering with evidence. The court finds probable cause to detain you. What says pretrial is to record?
Just a moment, please. 2011, I see a robbery charge. Their disposition not reported.
Okay.
2012, trafficking. It says class 2 weapon and burglary with a weapon. That one says disposition not received.
Okay.
There's a robbery charge from 2012. That was an adjudication. And these are all out of Washington.
Okay.
Malicious mischief, 99, adjudication. Obstructing law enforcement, adjudication in 2000.
All right, Mr. Petticord, your bond is going to be set as scheduled. Count 1, petty theft, $750, possessing an altered bill, $1,000, possession of cocaine, $1,000 on each count, possession of drug paraphernalia, $100 on each count, and 2 counts of tampering with evidence, $1,000 on each count, for a total of $5,950, sir. Gregory Saunders, the court has no paperwork.
Your Honor, I printed out paperwork, so thanks.
Okay. Mr. Saunders, this is an additional hold on you, sir, for burglary of armed burglary of a dwelling or a structure.
Judge, are you on Mr. Saunders or Mr. Corbett?
Gregory Saunders.
He's on Paul Ryan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't see anyone at Ryan. Do we want to see if we can add him for this afternoon?
I think he has other holds, so Brian, whatever you want. Do you want this afternoon or do you want it tomorrow?
Can the clerk do that? But I need the paperwork because I need to review this.
You wanna keep the paperwork?
I wanted to keep it so I could review it.
Take the top.
Just take this part?
Yeah.
And I'll take this part. That sounds like a good deal. All right, now we'll talk to Justin Corbett, Mr. Corbett. I similarly have no paperwork for him.
Your Honor, if I may, these are all change of charges. He's actually already been arraigned, I believe, by Judge Rothschild. If you'd like, I can advise the court what the bonds were originally set at his first appearance.
Well, what was okay, so originally he was held on.
There was an aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer.
That's now an ag assault.
assault.
Okay, what was the original bond?
10,000, I believe.
Okay. And what about it looks like count 2 was no info?
I believe so, Your Honor. The fleeing and eluding, which was changed to another fleeing with disregard to safety of persons.
Okay, that's now count 4.
Yes, that was set at 2,500.
Okay.
And the DWLS, it was changed from a DWLS to an operating without, that was 750. But I have no if the court wants to reduce.
I don't even have that on my list.
It's count 6.
Well, that I have as so all of these are, the case is 185032 CF10A?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For some reason, it came across as $749, okay.
It was, yeah, that's why I'm saying 750, but it's a
Okay.
misdemeanor now, so I have no.
What about the resisting without violence?
I believe that was a change of charge from
99?
resisting with violence, and the jail's already updated the bond to the standard bond of $100.
Which one?
The resisting without violence. Oh, I'm sorry, it hasn't. Yeah, I would, yeah, it was set at 90, I'd ask for 100.
It was set at $99?
Yes.
What are we doing? Giving like, where's those come from? 99
Well,
and,
my understanding, Judge, is he has also a no bond hold on a BOP. I believe
that's
that's the court's
correct.
way of knowing that he's being held no bond.
but all of these have been down, it appears that everything's going down and not going up.
Yeah, I think.
They were all
count
down
four-
They went down a dollar.
I think count 4 was up filed, but
But count one was down filed?
yes.
Okay. All right, so is there any problem with just leaving count one at 10,000, count three at 99, count four at 2,500, and count six at 749?
Considering he has no bond hold, Judge, at this time, we have no objection to that.
Okay.
I was gonna have to see his division, Judge.
All righty, I got it.
I'm sorry, can you,
Count one is 10,000, count three is 99, count four is 2,500, and count six is 749. Would Lubin,
he was removed from the docket also,
does that mean he's gonna be on the
I think it
afternoon?
was bond surrender.
I think this was not for magistrates, Your Honor. It was.
Right, because I have it for Judge Siegel.
Yeah, and there were bond surrenders
Yeah,
which
they
don't
were
get.
not
Okay.
for magistrate.
I think that's it. Do we have anything special this morning?
No, we're done, Judge.
Just-
What time should we be back this afternoon? Start at 1:30?
1:30 sounds good to me.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you, folks.
We all start at 1.
I'm sorry?
We all start at 1. I don't know why I said 1:30.
Because I start at 1:30. He knows I start at 1:30. Okay?
And he'll be back.
Thank you, folks.
And he could come at 2 and we're still gonna get it done.
Here.
It doesn't really
Still
matter.
be done.
You're welcome. I didn't use any of these driver records. And the recycle. Hi, what's the name? Hi, Robert Lee. Easy name. But it's not Robert E.
Nice to meet you,